let's get into Toni Ghazi. Really excited to bring Toni on. And actually, like, the Antares has been coming up quite strongly over the last 2 years for me. I would say the last 2 years has been, I've been in this world researching for 23 years and 16 years of events. But for the last 2 years, Orion, Dragons, and Antares have all been coming in strong. And Toni reached out to me, when was it? I don't even know, 6 months ago, 7 months ago, something like that. And he was sharing with me that he basically who he is and and I'll read his bio right now. And he brings in the Mantis Beings and he connects to Antares. And he sent me an email about the cruise that we're doing because he's also a presenter on the cruise, and said that he'd love to be a part of it. And already had my roster for my speakers. I even had a waiting list. But when I saw the Antarian heart in there, I just felt this resonance immediately, and I had to explore more. And within one day, I think maybe even the same day, we got on a phone call. And you're going to experience Toni now, especially if you come on the cruise, you experience him even more. And this is the first time he's on a Portal to Ascension event, so it's his debut here. And his energy is incredible. It's contagious. Makes you feel so great about life just having a conversation with him. But the fact that he was speaking about Antares, and I had a regression, one of my first regressions over the last 2 years, I went to Antares and I realized I had a connection there, and also Orion. And Debbie Solaris just spoke about the portal, the Stargate on Antares, and then I also saw myself in Orion with the Stargate there. So there's some connections there with these places and these portal planets. And something I always say is I'm a skeptic at heart. I'm not a skeptic at heart. I'm a healthy skeptic. Okay, I'm a healthy skeptic, and so it takes a lot for me and a lot of confirmations. And even though a lot of the awareness that I'm into, super metaphysical, super out there, right? But honestly, when you have all these different things confirming it and all these energies validating your experience, having a regression on Antares, the next day or a few days later, someone talking to you about Antares, or finding Toni Ghazi's website where his title is The Antarian Heart, and then all of a sudden, all these presenters that I had on my platform that never mentioned Antares are speaking about Antares now too. So there is some sort of energy going on, and I feel when these things come into our field, the frequency of that area is coming to be processed, to be healed. Something is going on where that theme of that incarnational experience that we've had is relevant for this moment now. So I'm excited to bring on Toni Ghazi, also known as the Antarian Heart. He's a trance channeler, spiritual guide working through the praying mantis beings, specifically from the Antares Stargate. Toni brings channeled messages of unconditional love and integration to help guide humanity back to his true self and essence, activating remembrance of who you really are and creating a life of empowerment and enlightenment. At the Galactic Origins Cruise, he will be unveiling the world's first and only praying mantis crystal skulls to you, and they're activated by 20 million year old praying mantis beings that is preserved in petrified amber that was discovered in Chiapas, Mexico, an 8,000-year-old Egyptian Anubis tablet artifact recently unearthed in Jalisco, Mexico as well. Toni, along with the crystal skulls, will lovingly facilitate for you power of remembrance through direct contact channel light codes. And this is just a little bit about his experience on the cruise, but ultimately Toni is bringing in the Antarian Heart and bringing the Mantis Being. So let's go ahead and welcome him to the awakening of humanity. Hey, brother.
Hey, Neil, how are you?
It's so good to finally see you.
I know. We've been talking for like 4 or 5 months, and
I know, man.
and we've never met in person. So,
No.
but thank you for the love. Thank you for the introduction. I had a big smile on my face as you were describing how we kind of met in the whole Antarian connection. So thank you.
When those synchronicities happen, you need to follow them because you don't know where it's going to lead, And that's how I felt from you from the moment that you connected with me, the energy of your email. I felt like it was a soul brother that I've had many incarnations with connecting with me, and we had to make it happen sooner than later. So I'm just really honored to know you, brother, and I can't wait to actually dive in deeper with you and get to know you more on the cruise.
Thank you. I feel the same way, and just life has been big magical like whirlwind for me because I just awoke like not too long ago, right? Like 3 years ago, and I began channeling about a year and a half ago, and all of a sudden I'm at all these events, and my whole life is transforming. My whole look is transforming. My whole ideas are, I mean, everything is becoming magical, and I'm just going with the flow with no inhibition. So now I do my nails, which is crazy, right? And I have an eyeliner here, and it's just part of creation. And like this, like the yin, like the yin
Oh,
and the
okay.
yang, and that's the yang, or the
Oh, I
So
love it.
thank you. So I'm just following my heart without any reservation. And as you know, I'm a realtor, right? And I still do real estate. So out there in like the 3D world, I'm like this, and with the eyes and everything, and with all with all of like the symbols. And I'm really following my heart and just being who I am with no. And I'm not doing for others. I'm just doing because this is who I am as of today, which could change like a week from now, right? But
Yeah, man. Yeah, I
we're
feel it. I feel that you're just doing it from your heart, completely without expectations, attachment, no neediness. You're just 100% you, man, and
thank
that's what feels really good. You
thank
know.
you,
So, all right.
thank
So, what are you gonna do for us today?
Well, I mean, I can give you my whole history, but maybe not because I think people, like may love the history about how I awoke, but maybe I can channel for
Yeah, I think
like
that
for the
would be
audience. Would they
yes.
be able to chat and ask questions if they want to ask questions, or is that a
Yeah.
thing?
Are you? So, if you're trans channeling, do you want me to ask the questions, or can you read it?
No, I'll be gone because I have my eyes closed.
Yeah. So, go ahead and do your thing, and whenever you're ready for questions, I can go ahead and get them from the chat.
Okay,
Okay.
perfect.
So let
Okay,
me just make
perfect.
so everybody tuning in, if you have any questions at any point, just go ahead and type it out and I'll ask it.
Yes. And like just quickly that the praying mantis beings, because people have this preconceived notion that they're insects and they're mean and or whatever like the fear of insects. They're the most loving, unconditionally loving beings, along with many other beings, right? They're not the only ones, but just the vibration and like the frequency that they like bring through is off the charts. And know that beyond the words that they say, there's a lot of light codes, there's energetical like wavelength that is seeping through like the internet, like through our our infinite like interconnectedness. So there's more that's being shared that your mind isn't really like receiving yet, but like your consciousness is. And like for your audience, I have always stuttered. I use the word and then I use the word like to help me transition. But when I channel, there's like zero stuttering. It's the most flowy speech I've ever like been in, and it is my proof for me that, oh my god, I am in a different state, because I know that I stutter every single minute of all my life, and then like when I channel, it all kind of goes away. So I'll begin in a few seconds. They'll bring a message through, and they say you're welcome to ask a question or pose a statement or something like that, and then you can begin like reading the chat, and we can go from there. Okay?
Sounds good.
Thank you. Just keep an open heart. Just open your heart and go beyond the words. And if you feel called to close your eyes as the messages are coming through, like please do so. And then when they ask you guys to ask questions, like you're welcome to type it in the chat for Neil to ask. And from down Tari Stargate, we come through in this way to co-create with you this beautiful reality of oneness, to merge our hearts with your hearts, to be one in sound and vibration with you, to be one consciousness that we already and always are. And as we bring in these frequencies and vibrations to align your hearts, to align your awareness, to expand your consciousness to the infinite that it already is, know that we are becoming the one source that we always have been, that we always are. Your humanity is awakening to the beyond, beyond of the beyond of the beyond, to the nature of the infinite essence that you are, to the nature of the infinite love that you are, to the bright white light that you always have been, the engine that is within your hearts, as your hearts are the infinite portals of creation. Your hearts are the doorways, the gateways, the openings to any realities that you choose and prefer. And as your humanity is awakening to the idea that you are the infinite, you are divine, you are source, you are love, you are light, you are beginning to remember the many aspects of who you are, the multidimensionality of the essence of who you naturally are. You naturally are everything. You are the wisdom. You are infinity itself. You are the cosmos. You are all of it, all at once. But as a soul, as a creator, as a source itself, you have decided to come to earth, as you know, to experience limitation because you have experienced already the unlimited. Remember, you have already been the unlimited aspect of who you are. You have already been aware of the unlimitedness of who you are. And what a beautiful gift you are giving to all of us, as many of us are watching you, many of us are observing you, Mantis collectives or others and others. Many other consciousnesses and beings that your mind cannot even fathom or comprehend or even be able to begin to draw them are watching you with reverence because you are and we view you as our ascended masters. You have chosen to come here to go through the idea of forgetting, to be able to re experience your infinite power. And it is through the idea of forgetfulness that you have the opportunity to remember the infinite power that is within. And every experience that you have had, every choice that you made, are making, will make in the infiniteness of time is ascended mastery. Every experience that you observe others is ascended mastery. Ascension, enlightenment, becoming more expanded is literally that. There is nothing but the now moment. We oftentimes talk about the idea of destination. Well, you are infinite. And if you do understand the idea of infinite and infinity, that you keep on going and going and going and going and going and going and going, there is no destination to reach because you are always going. The only destination, should you prefer to put it from those terms, is this now moment. Because in this now moment, when you revel and the experiences that you are going through, when you revel in the emotions that you are feeling and experiencing, when you revel in the decisions that you are making, that destination of this now moment, to honor it as a valid part of creation, as truly is creation to begin with. When you begin seeing it from that perspective, then you are living in the now moment and you're able to take the next now moment in your evolution of the infinite aspect of who you are. And with that, we begin our magical dialogue with you. We are so ever grateful to allow us to come through in this way, to deliver messages that you already know, that is within your consciousness, that you have access to. And we welcome your questions or statements when you are ready.
Thank you. Do you have a name or are you a collective?
We are a collective. When the channel connected with our energies, vibration, and frequencies, he did connect with one being named Glovic on our planet. But that
Mhm.
connection was there temporarily to allow him to acclimate to the energy and frequencies of our beingness. And when that Transformation was complete. The idea of Glovic dissipated in a sense, merged back with us, and he was able to connect with us as the consciousness in the collective of the praying mantis idea of creation.
Can you explain what the entire system looks like? How many planets are there? How many civilizations exist?
Yes. We have been selectively sharing information with the channel about what the Antares Stargate is. He has not yet had the opportunity to go in deeper into the idea of the portal itself. But what we have shown him that the portal itself is a conscious, intelligent being. Listen to the words. The portal itself, what you call Antares Stargate, is a consciousness that is intelligent, that is constantly moving, forming, and reforming, and calculating, in a sense, and sensing the energies within the universe's parallel ideas of other existences, allowing beings to go in and out depending on the vibration frequency and the theme of explorations of their beingness. So, in this moment, at this stage, the channel has experienced the idea of that consciousness and as an intelligence as being beyond a doorway itself, as being beyond a portal that your mind can imagine. It is literally a being in its own right and essence. And he has connected very well with that vibration and frequency to allow him to merge in and through that stargate go into other realities of existences, to connect with other beings within the universe, infinite universe itself. Does that make sense?
It does. And are there specific dimensions and realities or planets that the Antares Stargate is connected to? Or can you pretty much choose wherever you want to go?
You see, because we are aware of the idea of our infiniteness and we are aware of our interconnectedness with everything, that we are energies to begin with, that our, in a sense, veins, bloodline, our ancestors are literally always interconnected with this beautiful web of creation of energies. We know that we have the access line, the doorways to go wherever we need to or we desire to. We do not see the idea of portals or gateways as an entering and exiting of an idea. It is simply consciousness of beingness, and it is us to begin with. We are aware that the portal is us. We are aware that the interconnectedness of everything is us to begin. It is not separate than us. There is no doorway out there that allows us to go through it to another dimension. That doorway is us. It is our awareness, our expanded awareness that allows us to be that doorway, that allows us to be that sacred geometrical lines of creation. We are all of it. Is that
So
clear?
is there no physical actual Stargate on that planet, and it's more the collective beings in that planet are the portals?
You see, the questions, the way that they are posed, we understand are coming from a limited aspect of creation. Remember, if you know as a being that you are everything, and you have access and are tapped in because your awareness and beingness is everywhere all at once, you know that you have access to the many parallel realities in the idea of infinite, yes? So
Yes.
anything that you can comprehend, anything that you can imagine from the expression of a physical planet, from the expression of physical beings, from the expression of how does that planet look like on a physical sense, yes, they all exist. But it is within your consciousness and awareness and how expanded it is
Hmm.
that you experience those planets from either a physical perspective or an energy perspective. Because in this now moment, as humanity, as you humans, because of the limitation that you have placed upon yourself, that your world, that Mother Gaia, that Mother Earth, looks a certain way, contains mountains, contains rivers, contains trees, contains rock formations, contains animals, contains other humans. Because of that limited awareness of how you define things should look like, you experience your world from that perspective. But when you begin expanding your mind and knowing that you are energies to begin with, then what was once physical will become or will appear, will perceive to you as energy. And then it is within your power as a creator to be able to experience what you choose. Should you want to choose to experience that world from a physical aspect with physical beings on it, then what projects from your heart, from your consciousness, is a world of such. Should you expand your mind a bit further and say, yes, there is a physical aspect of creation, but I want to experience that physicality from an energy essence, then that literal physical world with the physical beings will fizzle out into the energy essence, and you'll begin to seeing that world from an energy perspective, from the interconnectedness, sacred geometrical lines and light reflections and color frequencies and sound vibrations of creation. Is that clear?
Yeah, so what you're saying is, one, we have a limited perspective because of the way we see our reality linearly and physically, and two, it's almost like, and the entire Stargate is almost a holographic projection of our level of consciousness and what we can play within it, and we can manifest it in physicality if that's what we choose to experience it as, but we really can't even fathom in this dimension what it truly is because of our limitations.
Precisely. Spoken like an ascended master.
And we have a question here. Where is the solar system? Where in the solar system, besides Earth, are humans currently residing?
Where on the solar system are
In the solar system,
humans
yes.
currently residing?
Besides Earth, in our solar system.
Again, we go back to the basic idea of that question. The idea of humans, the way that you have experienced it and defined it, is one singular way of creation itself, an expression of creation. But your idea of what humans is beyond what your mind can comprehend, although it is learning and is expanding its own consciousness to understand that you are already the aliens that you are seeking. That within your DNA structures, within your light codes, are many aspects of the many infinite beings that exist across the galaxies, across the earth, across the planets, across the infiniteness of creation. But to answer that question, yes, there are many humans, humanoid looking, perhaps looking slightly different than you are, that reside on the spectrum on or within the layers of the infiniteness of all realities. And the question to you is, which one do you choose to connect with? And the fact that you pose that question already tells you that there has been communication from the other side, from another humanoid aspect or species that is attempting to show itself to you. And although we would love to answer the questions of your humanity, our mission on within the idea of existence is to empower you to access the wisdom that is within you. So for that being that posed that question, know that you have posed that question because there is another race that is attempting to speak to you, is already speaking to you. Go into your heart. Believe the images that you get. Believe the feelings that are being evoked. Close your eyes and allow your consciousness beyond the physical body, beyond the physical mind. Allow your consciousness, your energy essence that is always around you, that is interconnected, tethered with an infinite creation. Allow that to bring information from that species back to your mind to be able to decipher that information to give you a vision, a clear picture of what race is attempting to communicate with you. And do not doubt the information that comes through. You have access to the wisdom that you seek. You are already the infinite. You have simply forgotten that you are.
After first open contact occurs, when Earth has open contact, and we're going to start integrating with the galactic community, what would the first few years look like? What will first contact and interaction with the galactic community look like when it begins?
Well, that depends on your reaction. The being that specifically asked that question, depending on the timelines, again, within the infiniteness, there are infinite probabilities, infinite realities that could occur depending on the choices, the frequency that you are on. And although you may be able to observe other realities simultaneously occurring all at once, your specific frequency and vibration will elicit, will invite a reality of such. So, should you have an open arm and an open heart to such a connection, to such a reuniting of your own selves, then your reality will shift on that frequency and vibration. And little by little, you will begin to notice that you are living in a world that also matches the vibration and frequency of the beings that you just made contact with. So there is no one specific answer because it depends in that now moment on your decision, your emotionality, your open heartedness, and your frequency and vibration and light codes that are being emanated of how welcoming, ready, and open you are for that specific contact within the context that you are infinite, that there are other beings around you attempting to contact other humans. And each of those humans that are right next to you may be making a decision that is slightly different or contrastingly different than yours. And each and every one of you will experience a reality and an experience of that. Does that make sense?
It does, yes. Are there any active stargates on Earth right now? And if so, where do they lead? Is there a choice of destination?
We smile and laugh within our own consciousness. Because again, the way that you are posing that question is from a limited perspective. We understand. We are here to help you expand that idea. The stargates that you seek are you to begin with. Your hearts are the ultimate stargates that you are searching for. And if you begin believing and knowing that you are the strongest stargate that you can imagine, beyond the other physical stargates that you have heard of in Antarctica, in Egypt, Bermuda Triangle, a few others around your planet. Those are limited aspects of what stargates are. Those are separated aspects of what stargates are, because you are within the consciousness that I am separate than my surroundings. I am separate than that pyramid. I am separate than the idea of the Stargate in Antarctica. I am separate than the idea of the Stargate in Bermuda, etc., etc. When you begin knowing that you are source and that you are the ultimate stargates, all of those, what seems to be exterior stargates, will begin opening up within you. And you will begin to realize that you are the stargate that you ultimately have always been searching for.
What is, as over the years I've heard about the benevolent mantis beings and the ones that have been here for a long time, longer than humanity existed in our linear time. And then there's also stories about mantis beings working with governments doing hybridization programs, violating free will. Could you maybe shed some light on that, if there is that polarity within the mantis beings and what the specific agendas are?
Indeed, 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 indeed. Again, we always go back to the question itself, how limited it seems from the way that you are posing it. Because if you truly know that you are infinite and that you are this infinite energy that is always creating and recreating and experiencing the infinite, which means everything, all of it, then yes, all of these experiences, all of these beings exist on one level or another. And beware. Stories are being created by others, and those are valid part of creation. The narrative that your government is creating is a one valid part of creation. Empower yourself. Allow yourself to connect with those beings as again, you are the portals of creation. You are the stargates that you seek to connect with all beings within the infinite. Which ones do you choose to experience in this now moment? And from the eyes of creation, there is never judgment. We never judge you for any of the choices or experiences that you choose to experience. Should you prefer to experience the idea of the mantis beings being evil, malevolent, not as friendly, that is indeed part of creation, that is not judged by creation because it is part of itself, allowing itself to expand through the idea of enlightenment. Should you choose to connect with the idea of a benevolent, friendly mantis, then that reality will occur. And yes, within the possibility and probability of the storyline that your government has created, that the mantis beings are there working with the greys, yes, they are not only working with the greys, they are working with many species within the idea you call the universe and infiniteness. We, in a sense, are overseers, geneticists. We observe oftentimes, tweak and assist on a very surface level, empower and remember, allow those beings to remember that within their choices, realities are being created. So we help them activate parts of their memories to re empower themselves, to be able to expand further. Yes, we have been known to heal, but the reality is we are not healers. We provide you with the frequency and vibration of what a healed state is, and it is through your power, through your choice, through your decision, through your knowingness that you are already healed, that you heal yourself. No one can ever heal you because you are the creator. That created the idea, let's say, of sickness. And if you are strong enough to create the idea of sickness, you are definitely strong enough to create the idea of health in complete alignment. But all of those are expansion. All of those experiences are enlightenment. Because how else are you expanding? Should you be experiencing the same thing over and over and over again? Should you be in a complete aligned state within love and light constantly, which is part of creation? Well, that is one aspect of reality. The other aspect of reality is experiencing the challenges. But when you begin defining that my challenges are literally my expansion, my enlightenment, then the experience of those challenges will shift. You become empowered and you will be able to quantumly leap and be able to experience pain, let's say for a moment, and instantaneously move to an experience of no pain instead of reveling in the idea of pain and feeling disempowered that you cannot heal yourself and you are waiting for someone else or something else or some other idea to heal you.
Thank you so much. Final question. I would love for you to go into the galactic history of the mantis beings. Maybe how were they here? Where are they one of the most ancient civilizations before the human template? And I understand the limitation of linearity when we're looking at time and an origin. But within that context, were they here before? How did they come about? And what is their relationship and ancestry even to humans of Earth?
Thank you for posing that question, as the channel has not gone yet through the records. But because of your ascended mastery question, he will be able to experience something new today. So for that, we are grateful for you. As we were posing the question, we gave the channel the idea of sound, the screaming, in a sense, of own voice. The ah, this vibration and frequency of sound itself and light itself. You all are, we were. We began with the idea of vibration. of just existence everywhere all at once, the awareness of everything all at once. And then through that, we limited ourselves in a sense or focused more. We scaled down the idea of focus. And with that, the idea of physicality began to form. And from our perspective, we understand that many physicalities were formed when that idea of expression began. We hope you follow us.
Yes,
Initially,
definitely.
we were sound and light everywhere, having the awareness that we're everything all at once. Then we scaled down that focus. And the idea and the perception and the expression of physicality began. As that began, different forms of physicality begins forming. So we essentially aren't the first ones that were formed, but we were formed as part of that first expression, the first awareness that we need to limit ourselves a little bit. Although at that moment, we didn't know what limitation was. We were just simply experiencing a new thing from our perspective. Infiniteness, now less infinite. And the idea of what you call praying mantis beings were formed. We did not specifically look the way that the insects on your planet are in this now moment, but through the evolution, through the time, through the expansion of self-expression of creation itself, things shifted. Remember, you are a malleable energy body, always forming and reforming and advancing and less advancing, however the words you would like to use. And yes, when your planet, when the consciousness of the idea of a planet needed to be formed with many other beings on it, unknowingly what humans were, unknowingly what plants were, unknowingly what animals were, unknowingly what an ocean is, unknowingly what a mountain is, unknowingly what air is. Because remember, all of that is limited idea of everything, expressions of everything. But when the consciousness idea of such a planet needed to form, as it began forming, other beings within the interconnectedness, the web of creation, began, in a sense, popping up with their own self empowered creatorship. So there wasn't a source that created these this humanity, these beings. It is the self-awareness of such a creator that allowed the formation of what you call an ant, what you call an insect, what you call a rock, what you call a volcano, what you call a human. So there is a collective essence as a creator, but there is individual awareness of that main essence that now knows itself as being a piece of the creator that began its own formation from its own essence, from its own frequency, from its own vibration. So, from our perspective, we didn't come and visit you in that sense to assist you. It is the consciousness of your planet, the consciousness of each of those beings that allowed our existence, our expression to be with you as all of our frequencies and vibrations in that moment where you call we came here occurred. Does that make sense?
It makes great sense. Yes. Thank you so much. No more questions.
We are infinitely grateful for this opportunity to speak with you in this way. We are infinitely grateful for this co creation of the infinite, as in this now moment, we all enlightened, we all expanded, we all became more of the infinite. You are our ascended masters. We always have regarded you as such. Other beings regard you as such. So thank you for choosing such an expression of life. Thank you for
Mm.
allowing yourself to go into the depth of darkness, to allow Source itself to re experience its power through your expansion. with our unconditional love, bright, 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 bright white light of creation, and infinite, infinite, infinite open heart. We thank you for this beautiful co creation. We'll bring back the channel momentarily as we head through the stargate of Antares, where our consciousness resides. Wow. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Hi, Neil.
Beautiful. I'm so glad I got to experience that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
And whoever asked the question about, I forget what the question is, but all I could feel is like the idea of all those beings like coming to Earth, or like the idea of this being came, then there's no coming to anything. We, it's almost like we're the ingredients, of making like a cake. And if you want to make a cake that's fluffy, that's like chocolate, that whatever, our frequency is the ingredients that will create that creation. And I have my eyes closed because I'm still kind of in a state feeling like it's hard to describe like what I just felt like through them. It's through our belief system, obviously, through our vibration, through our frequency, that many forms of life is being created. So like nothing came here. We created it through the idea of infiniteness of creation, through our choices, through our experiences, through our intention, through our energies, through our imagination, through our everything, right? And the idea of they visit us, we visit them, we are from here, I am from there, is so antiquated, they're saying right now. It's so antiquated, but it's part of expansion. It's just everything is being created right here and right now through us, within us, like period. There's nothing out there. Again, the heart is the projector of our, of our reality. And really, thank you for allowing me to feel what I felt, because I've never had that question asked of how creation began, or I don't know, or however the question was posed. I can't remember, but I could feel that. It was amazing. It's just like consciousness creating more consciousness that's either like limited or expanded through its own consciousness, and it's just so. It's beautiful. I'm sorry. I'm just not finding the
Yeah, it was
word.
great. And
It's,
I asked that question because I'm huge into galactic history.
yeah.
And honestly, it was really cool to watch you download content right there. Because
Oh my God.
I could tell that it wasn't in the field and you brought it in.
Thank
That
you.
was really awesome real
Thank you.
experience.
And I have chills all over. I don't know if you can see my head, but I have chills all over my head as well.
When I saw you have that download, I had chills too. Such a deeper conversation. We got to get to our next guest in a second here, but
Yes.
I just want to share a few things that you shared just to kind of bring it all together. So one conversation I want to have with you later is that even the incarnational experience of the mantis beings seems to be a similar story to all the different beings. So is it that when any set of energy becomes sentient, that they all have the same thing? Let me experience myself, and it's like the ultimate source had that one experience, and all fractals of source also does the same thing, right? That's something that came to me. And then I loved what you said, the depths of darkness. Thank you for coming to the depths of darkness to allow source to re-experience itself through us. That was powerful.
And I have chills all over my body. And I've never thought of it in that way, but every time we and us and all the other consciousnesses that live like within the infinite experience those things, source itself re-experiences every part of it. And this is how source expands at source. And this is how infinity continues on to being more infinity.
Right. I can't wait to be on the cruise ship and have philosophical conversations with you and everyone. I appreciate you, brother. I love you, man. Thank you so much for being here.
I love you too. Thank you for your audience. Thank you for everybody. Love you guys.
I'll catch you later. Okay, take your time.